Introduction and origins of Teotihuacán. Imagine walking through an ancient city so old that even its builders have been lost to history. Once vibrant and full of life, today the streets echo only with the footsteps of visitors and archaeologists. Towering pyramids rise toward the sky, defying time and erosion. This is Teotihuacán, meaning the place where men become gods. But how did this magnificent city come to be? Who were the master architects behind it? And what led to its dramatic collapse, leaving it abandoned for centuries? Teotihuacán, located about 50 kilometers from modern-day Mexico City, is one of the largest and most enigmatic archaeological sites in Mesoamerica. At its peak around 450 AD, it was one of the biggest cities in the ancient world, rivaling the population of Rome. However, unlike other great civilizations like the Maya or Egyptians, the people of Teotihuacán left no written records to explain their achievements or beliefs. What we know about them has been slowly pieced together through centuries of excavation and discovery. As soon as you step into the city, you're greeted by the imposing pyramids of the sun and moon. These massive structures, built with an architectural precision that challenges logic, dominate the skyline, a silent testament to the ingenuity and skill of their builders. Along the city's main avenue, known as the Avenue of the Dead, temples, palaces, and residences stretch out, suggesting a highly organized and hierarchical society. But the lingering question remains: what motivated the people of Teotihuacán to build these architectural wonders? What did they believe, and how did they live? Teotihuacán is not just about its monumental architecture. Archaeologists and historians have tried to unravel the complex web of culture, religion, and politics that sustained this society. Evidence suggests that Teotihuacán was a multicultural center where different ethnic groups and tribes came together to trade, share knowledge, and perhaps unite under a common cause. Artifacts uncovered at the site indicate that the city maintained extensive trade networks with other Mesoamerican civilizations, and possibly even beyond, exchanging valuable goods like jade and obsidian. But what makes Teotihuacán even more mysterious is the role of human sacrifices, which appear to have played a central part in their religious practices. At the heart of the city lies the Temple of Quetzalcoatl, adorned with feathered serpent heads and masks of the rain god Tlaloc. It serves as a dark reminder of the city's rituals. More than 200 warriors are believed to have been sacrificed to consecrate this temple, their bodies arranged in layers beneath the structure. These macabre rituals were not unique to Teotihuacán, but the scale and organization in which they were carried out suggest a deep sense of religious and social duty. Teotihuacán's mysterious founders. Teotihuacán as a city stands as not only one of the largest archaeological sites in Mesoamerica, but also one of the most mysterious. Founded around 100 BC, its population quickly grew, and by its peak around 450 AD, it housed around 200,000 people, making it one of the largest cities in the ancient world, comparable to Rome, Alexandria, and Constantinople. Yet, unlike these other metropolises, the inhabitants of Teotihuacán disappeared without leaving clear traces of their origin, identity, or fate. The city's urban planning reflects a highly organized society. The main avenue, called the Avenue of the Dead, cuts through the city from north to south for almost 3 kilometers. This thoroughfare connected the city's major ceremonial buildings, including the Pyramid of the Sun, the Pyramid of the Moon, and the Temple of Quetzalcoatl. Along its sides were residential and administrative structures, suggesting that Teotihuacán was both a political and religious center. It is believed that the Avenue of the Dead was used as a ceremonial route, and perhaps even as a symbolic representation of the path their souls would take after death. The role of astronomy in Teotihuacán's architecture. The Pyramid of the Sun, the largest structure in the city, is the third largest pyramid in the world, surpassed only by the Great Pyramid of Giza and the Pyramid of Cholula. Its base measures approximately 215 meters on each side, and it stands 65 meters tall. But what makes this pyramid even more fascinating is its architectural precision. Researchers have discovered that the Pyramid of the Sun is aligned with the point where the sun sets during the summer solstice, indicating that the people of Teotihuacán had a deep knowledge of astronomy. This discovery has led to speculation that the pyramid may have been used as an astronomical observatory or for religious rituals linked to solar cycles. On the other hand, the Pyramid of the Moon, though smaller at 42 meters high, played a more symbolic role related to war and sacrifice. Located at the northern end of the Avenue of the Dead, it dominates the landscape alongside the Pyramid of the Sun. Archaeologists have unearthed sacrificial offerings, including remains of pumas, eagles, and snakes, animals associated with warfare in Mesoamerican iconography. These offerings, along with human skeletons found nearby, indicate that the pyramid was central to Teotihuacán's war rituals. The Temple of Quetzalcoatl, also known as the Temple of the Feathered Serpent, is another crucial landmark in the city. Decorated with elaborate sculptures of feathered serpents and masks of Tlaloc, the rain god, this temple is considered one of the most important in Teotihuacán. Excavations at the site have revealed more than 200 human skeletons buried beneath the temple, many with their hands tied behind their backs, suggesting they were sacrificed. It is believed that these sacrifices were part of rituals intended to appease the gods and ensure the continuation of life in Teotihuacan. The cult of Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, was also central to Teotihuacan's religion, and its influence can be seen in later civilizations such as the Aztecs and the Maya. A center of trade and innovation. One of the fascinating aspects of Teotihuacan is its advanced system of irrigation and water supply. The city was built in a dry valley where access to potable water was limited. However, the engineers of Teotihuacan dug a series of deep wells and created irrigation channels that ensured the supply of water for its vast population. This technical achievement is even more impressive when you consider that Teotihuacan housed around 200,000 people, a population comparable to modern-day metropolitan centers. The society of Teotihuacan appeared to be stratified, with a ruling elite living in large residential complexes, while the common population occupied smaller dwellings on the outskirts of the city. Murals found in the elite residences offer a glimpse into the beliefs and customs of the city. These paintings depict scenes of gods, warriors, and religious rituals, suggesting that religion played a central role in Teotihuacan life. Additionally, the presence of artifacts from distant cultures, such as the Maya, indicates that Teotihuacan maintained an extensive network of trade and political influence. Yet the true identity of the Teotihuacanos remains a mystery. Unlike the Maya, who left detailed written records of their history and culture, the people of Teotihuacan did not seem to use a writing system that survived to the present day. This has led to much speculation about their origins. Some archaeologists believe that Teotihuacan was founded by an unknown Mesoamerican group, while others suggest that the city resulted from the migration of different peoples into the Central Valley of Mexico. Regardless of its origins, it is clear that Teotihuacan was a cultural and political powerhouse that influenced the entire region. Architecture and religion in Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan is renowned for its awe-inspiring architecture, much of which still stands today, drawing millions of visitors. The city's most iconic structures, the Pyramid of the Sun, the Pyramid of the Moon, and the Temple of Quetzalcoatl, serve not only as testaments to the skill of its builders, but also as a reflection of the deeply spiritual nature of the Teotihuacan civilization. The Pyramid of the Sun, monument to the cosmos. The Pyramid of the Sun is the largest structure in Teotihuacan and the third largest pyramid in the world. Standing 65 meters tall and spanning 215 meters on each side of its base, it dominates the city's skyline. While its sheer size is impressive, what makes this pyramid truly remarkable is its alignment with astronomical events. The pyramid is precisely oriented with the sunset on the day of the summer solstice, suggesting that the Teotihuacanos had a sophisticated understanding of astronomy. This alignment has led researchers to believe that the Pyramid of the Sun may have served as an astronomical observatory or as the focal point for religious ceremonies tied to the solar calendar. The Teotihuacanos likely viewed the sun as a powerful deity, and the pyramid, towering above the rest of the city, symbolized their connection to this celestial force. Climbing the pyramid today, one can't help but feel the magnitude of its spiritual significance. For the people of Teotihuacan, ascending the steps of this colossal monument may have been a ritualistic journey closer to the gods. The Pyramid of the Sun, however, wasn't just a spiritual symbol. Its construction involved immense coordination and resources, showcasing the city's organized labor system. The stones used to build the pyramid, some weighing several tons, had to be transported over long distances, a feat made possible without the use of advanced machinery. This level of architectural precision, combined with astronomical alignment, suggests that the pyramid held not only religious, but also political significance, symbolizing the power and unity of Teotihuacan. The Pyramid of the Moon, sacred ground for sacrifice. Smaller but no less significant is the Pyramid of the Moon, which stands at 42 meters. Located at the northern end of the Avenue of the Dead, it offers a striking view of the city. Unlike the Pyramid of the Sun, which was primarily connected to solar worship, the Pyramid of the Moon had a more martial and sacrificial role. Archaeological evidence has uncovered offerings, including the remains of pumas, eagles, and serpents, creatures associated with war in Mesoamerican mythology. The discovery of human remains at the site further highlights the pyramid's role in religious sacrifices. These sacrifices, believed to appease the gods and secure divine favor, were likely performed during critical times such as droughts, wars, or the consecration of important structures. The exact nature of these rituals remains speculative, but it is widely believed that the victims, whether captured warriors or members of the community, were seen as necessary offerings to maintain cosmic balance. The strategic positioning of the Pyramid of the Moon at the end of the Avenue of the Dead also suggests its importance in funerary rites. Scholars theorize that the pyramid's placement could symbolize a gateway to the afterlife, where the dead journeyed to meet the gods. The avenue itself may have been used for ceremonial processions, culminating in rituals held at the pyramid. The Avenue of the Dead, a ceremonial heartline. The Avenue of the Dead stretches for almost 3 kilometers, connecting the Pyramid of the Moon with the Pyramid of the Sun and the Temple of Quetzalcoatl. Its importance cannot be overstated. This grand avenue wasn't just a thoroughfare, it was a symbolic pathway, possibly representing the journey of souls through life, death, and into the afterlife. Alongside the avenue stood temples, palaces, and residential complexes, all strategically placed to serve both the living and the divine. The name Avenue of the Dead comes from the fact that the structures lining the avenue were originally thought to be tombs. However, it's now believed that many of these structures were actually elite residences or administrative buildings. Even so, the name persists, and the avenue remains a powerful symbol of Teotihuacan's spiritual and political organization. Walking down this avenue today, one can imagine the grand processions that might have taken place, religious festivals, the movement of armies, or the journey of the dead to their final resting places. The Temple of Quetzalcoatl, a place of sacrifice and worship. The Temple of Quetzalcoatl, also known as the Temple of the Feathered Serpent, is one of the most intricately decorated structures in Teotihuacan. Adorned with serpent heads and masks of Tlaloc, the rain god, the temple stands as a central piece of Teotihuacan's religious life. Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, was a deity associated with wisdom, wind, and life, and his worship was widespread across Mesoamerica. His dual nature, as both a snake and a bird, symbolized the union of earth and sky, making him one of the most important gods in the region. Archaeological excavations at the Temple of Quetzalcoatl have revealed evidence of large-scale human sacrifices. Over 200 skeletons were found buried beneath the temple, many of them bound, indicating that they were sacrificed. The purpose of these sacrifices was likely to consecrate the temple and ensure the continued favor of the gods. Sacrifices at this scale reflect a society deeply intertwined with its religious beliefs, where offerings of blood were seen as essential to maintaining the balance of the universe. The feathered serpent's significance transcends Teotihuacan, influencing civilizations long after the city's fall. The Aztecs, who arrived in the region centuries later, revered Quetzalcoatl as a central figure in their pantheon. They believed that the gods had created the sun and moon in Teotihuacan, and they adopted many of the city's symbols and practices, including the worship of Quetzalcoatl. Rituals and religion, a culture shaped by sacrifice. The centrality of sacrifice in Teotihuacan's religion cannot be overstated. Sacrifices were a way to communicate with the gods, to ensure prosperity, and to keep cosmic forces in balance. Unlike modern perspectives that often view these acts as brutal, for the people of Teotihuacan, they were acts of devotion. Blood was seen as the vital force that nourished the gods and sustained life. Rituals often involved not just human sacrifices, but also offerings of animals, precious stones, and other valuable items. Rituals were likely tied to the agricultural calendar, with sacrifices marking the changing seasons, the arrival of rains, or other important cosmic events. The city's proximity to natural elements like water and sun, both key to survival, suggests that their religion was deeply connected to the environment. The grandeur of their temples, the careful alignment of their pyramids, and the frequency of their offerings all point to a civilization that viewed life and death through the lens of divine will. Teotihuacan's religion also had a political aspect. The ruling elite, who lived in the palaces near the pyramids, likely used religious ceremonies to legitimize their authority. By controlling the temples and overseeing sacrifices, they reinforced their power both as leaders and as intermediaries between the people and the gods. The ability to command such large-scale construction projects and orchestrate significant religious events spoke to the elite's control over both labor and belief. The role of astronomy in religion. Another key aspect of Teotihuacan's religion was its integration with astronomy. The alignment of the city's pyramids and temples with celestial events indicates a belief in the connection between the heavens and the earth. The positioning of the Pyramid of the Sun to coincide with the summer solstice, for example, suggests that the movements of the sun, moon, and stars were deeply important to the city's religious practices. Teotihuacan may have been a place where priests and astronomers worked together to predict solar and lunar events, guiding the timing of religious festivals and sacrifices. The celestial bodies were likely seen as divine beings or as messengers of the gods. By aligning their temples with the cosmos, the people of Teotihuacan believed they could maintain harmony between the earthly and celestial realms. In this way, Teotihuacan's religion was not just a matter of ritual sacrifice, but also one of cosmic order. The city was a microcosm of the universe, with its pyramids and temples serving as earthly representations of divine forces. Each structure was imbued with spiritual significance, and each sacrifice was a way to keep the balance between life, death, and the gods. Society, trade, and multiculturalism in Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan wasn't just an architectural marvel, it was also a thriving hub of trade, culture, and social organization. At its peak, the city housed over 200,000 people, making it one of the largest cities in the ancient world. This section will explore the complexities of Teotihuacan society, from the elite ruling class to the common citizens, and highlight its role as a multicultural center of trade and exchange. A stratified society, life in Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan society was highly stratified, with a clear division between the elite and the lower classes. The city's rulers, priests, and nobles lived in sprawling palaces located near the city's central temples and pyramids. These residences were lavishly decorated with murals depicting gods, warriors, and religious ceremonies, offering a glimpse into the elite's daily life and their connection to religious and political power. The common citizens of Teotihuacan, on the other hand, lived in smaller, more modest dwellings located on the outskirts of the city. These homes were built in apartment-style compounds, a unique architectural feature for the time, housing extended families and offering communal living spaces. The existence of such housing units suggests that the lower classes lived in relatively organized communities, where cooperation and shared labor were essential for survival. The division between the elite and commoners was not just a matter of wealth, but also of political and religious influence. The ruling elite likely controlled the city's temples and were responsible for organizing the grand religious ceremonies that took place at the pyramids. They may have also acted as intermediaries between the gods and the people, reinforcing their power through their role in religious life. In contrast, the common people likely provided the labor needed to maintain the city's infrastructure, build its monumental structures, and farm its lands. Art and muralism, windows into daily life. The murals found throughout Teotihuacan are some of the most valuable sources of information about the city's society. These intricate paintings depict scenes of daily life, religious rituals, and important figures, giving us a visual representation of how the city's inhabitants lived, worshipped, and governed. The elite residences were particularly adorned with elaborate murals that reflected their status and power. One common theme in the murals is the portrayal of warriors and warfare, suggesting that military prowess played a significant role in Teotihuacan society. Warriors were often depicted with elaborate costumes and weapons, reinforcing their importance within the social hierarchy. Religious figures, including priests and gods, were also commonly depicted, emphasizing the deep connection between religion and politics in the city. The style of Teotihuacan's murals is notable for its use of vibrant colors and detailed depictions of both humans and animals. The artistic techniques used suggest that the city had skilled artisans who were dedicated to creating these works, further indicating a division of labor within the society. Artisans likely formed a distinct social class, providing services to both the elite and the common people. Teotihuacan as a multicultural hub. One of the most intriguing aspects of Teotihuacan is its status as a multicultural center. The city was home to a diverse population, with evidence suggesting that people from various regions of Mesoamerica lived and worked in Teotihuacan. Archaeological findings have uncovered artifacts from as far away as the Maya regions in the south and the Zapotec territories in the west, indicating that the city was a focal point for trade and cultural exchange. The presence of multiple ethnic groups in Teotihuacan has led scholars to believe that the city was a melting pot of cultures, where different languages, traditions, and beliefs coexisted. This diversity likely contributed to the city's economic and political strength, as it allowed for the exchange of ideas, goods, and technologies across different regions. The city's ability to attract people from distant lands also speaks to its reputation as a powerful and prosperous metropolis. One of the key areas where this multiculturalism is evident is in the city's religious practices. The worship of Quetzalcoatl, for example, was not unique to Teotihuacan, but was a belief shared by other Mesoamerican civilizations, such as the Maya and the Aztecs. Similarly, the use of human sacrifices, though prominent in Teotihuacan, was a practice that could be found in other parts of the region, further illustrating the interconnectedness of the city with its neighbors. Trade networks, the lifeblood of Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan's success as a city was largely due to its extensive trade networks, which connected it to other important cities and civilizations across Mesoamerica. The city's strategic location in the central Mexican Valley allowed it to control trade routes that spanned from the Gulf of Mexico to the Pacific coast, as well as into the highlands of present-day Guatemala. This position made Teotihuacan a critical center for the exchange of goods, such as obsidian, jade, textiles, and agricultural products. Obsidian, a volcanic glass used for making tools and weapons, was one of the most valuable commodities traded in Teotihuacan. The city had access to some of the richest obsidian deposits in the region, and its artisans were skilled in crafting high-quality tools and ornaments. Obsidian from Teotihuacan has been found in archaeological sites as far south as Honduras, demonstrating the wide reach of the city's trade networks. In addition to obsidian, Teotihuacán was known for its production of fine pottery, textiles, and other luxury goods. These items were traded with neighboring civilizations in exchange for exotic goods, such as cacao, feathers, and precious stones. The trade of these goods not only enriched the city, but also allowed it to exert political and cultural influence over distant regions. Teotihuacán's trade connections extended beyond material goods. The city also served as a center for the exchange of knowledge and ideas. Religious beliefs, artistic styles, and even political practices were shared between Teotihuacán and its trading partners, further enhancing the city's influence across Mesoamerica. This exchange of ideas helped to solidify Teotihuacán's status as a cultural powerhouse, with its impact felt long after the city's decline. The role of the military in trade. While trade was a peaceful means of expanding Teotihuacán's influence, the city's military also played a crucial role in securing its dominance. Teotihuacán's armies likely protected its trade routes and may have been involved in the conquest of surrounding regions. The presence of warriors in the city's murals and artifacts suggests that military strength was a key component of Teotihuacán's power. It is possible that Teotihuacán used its military to enforce control over valuable resources such as obsidian mines or agricultural lands. The city's ability to maintain control over these resources would have been essential for sustaining its trade networks and ensuring its economic prosperity. The connection between the military and trade highlights the dual nature of Teotihuacán's power, one that relied on both diplomacy and force to maintain its influence. Social mobility and multiculturalism. Teotihuacán's status as a multicultural city likely allowed for some degree of social mobility, particularly for those involved in trade. Merchants who successfully navigated the city's trade routes and established connections with distant civilizations may have been able to rise in status, gaining wealth and influence. This would have created opportunities for individuals from different ethnic backgrounds to integrate into Teotihuacán society, contributing to the city's diversity. Additionally, the city's emphasis on religious and military achievements may have provided other avenues for social mobility. Successful warriors or individuals who played important roles in religious ceremonies could have been rewarded with land, titles, or other forms of recognition, allowing them to improve their standing within society. However, despite these opportunities, Teotihuacán remained a highly stratified society, with the elite class maintaining control over the city's most important institutions. The ruling elite, who likely controlled the temples and oversaw religious ceremonies, would have had the most power and influence, while the majority of the population lived modest lives as farmers, laborers, or artisans. Religion as a unifying force in a multicultural society. Religion played a crucial role in uniting the diverse population of Teotihuacán. The city's grand temples and religious ceremonies served as focal points for both the elite and common citizens, creating a shared sense of identity and purpose. The practice of human sacrifice, while shocking by modern standards, was likely seen as a necessary act to maintain cosmic order and ensure the city's continued prosperity. The city's multicultural nature may have influenced its religious practices, with different groups bringing their own beliefs and rituals to Teotihuacán. This blending of religious traditions could have contributed to the development of a complex and diverse religious landscape, where multiple deities and practices coexisted. In this way, religion not only provided spiritual guidance but also helped to create a cohesive society in a city as large and diverse as Teotihuacán. The shared rituals, festivals, and sacrifices would have reinforced the city's social hierarchy, while also providing a means of integrating its multicultural population. Theories of decline and fall of Teotihuacán. Despite its grandeur and power, Teotihuacán faced a mysterious and dramatic decline around the 7th century AD. Once a thriving metropolis with a population exceeding 200,000 people, it was suddenly abandoned, leaving behind monumental ruins that have intrigued historians and archaeologists for centuries. The fall of Teotihuacán remains one of the great mysteries of the ancient world. In this section, we will explore the various theories that attempt to explain why this great city collapsed. Environmental degradation and climate change. One of the most widely accepted theories about the decline of Teotihuacán centers around environmental factors, particularly climate change and overexploitation of natural resources. Teotihuacán was located in a valley that relied heavily on agriculture to sustain its massive population. However, studies of the region's paleoclimatic history suggest that the area experienced a prolonged drought in the 6th and 7th centuries AD. This drought would have severely impacted the city's agricultural output, leading to food shortages and increased social unrest. As the city grew, its demands on the surrounding environment increased. The need for food, water, and building materials placed a tremendous strain on local resources. Forests were cleared to make way for agriculture, and water systems were expanded to supply the city's growing population. However, this rapid expansion may have led to soil depletion and erosion, making it difficult to grow enough food to sustain the city. With a diminishing food supply and a growing population, Teotihuacan likely faced a crisis that contributed to its decline. In this context, environmental degradation would have weakened the city's ability to support its inhabitants, leading to famine, disease, and social instability. As resources became scarcer, tensions between different social classes and ethnic groups may have intensified, further destabilizing the city. Internal revolts and social unrest. Another prominent theory is that Teotihuacan's decline was the result of internal revolts and social unrest. Archaeological evidence suggests that many of the city's major structures, including its temples and elite residences, were deliberately burned and destroyed around the time of the city's fall. This destruction appears to have been targeted, with the homes of the ruling elite suffering the most damage. Such evidence has led many scholars to believe that Teotihuacan experienced a popular uprising or internal revolt. The social structure of Teotihuacan, with a powerful elite ruling over a large population of laborers and farmers, may have contributed to growing inequality and dissatisfaction. The elite controlled the city's religious and political institutions, overseeing the rituals and sacrifices that were essential to maintaining cosmic order. However, as environmental and economic conditions worsened, the ruling class may have been unable to provide for the population, leading to widespread discontent. The destruction of the elite's homes suggests that the lower classes, frustrated by the growing disparity between the rich and the poor, may have risen up against their rulers. The elite's control over religious and political power would have made them prime targets for rebellion, particularly if they were seen as failing in their responsibilities to the gods and the people. This internal conflict could have contributed to the city's rapid decline, as the destruction of key institutions and infrastructure weakened Teotihuacan's ability to recover from external pressures. External invasions and warfare. While internal factors likely played a role in Teotihuacan's decline, external invasions and warfare may have also contributed to the city's downfall. Teotihuacan was a powerful city-state that exerted influence over much of Mesoamerica, but it was not without enemies. The rise of competing powers, such as the Toltecs to the north, may have posed a threat to Teotihuacan's dominance. Some scholars believe that Teotihuacan was invaded and sacked by outside forces. The city's vast wealth and strategic location would have made it an attractive target for rival civilizations seeking to expand their territories. Evidence of violent destruction in parts of the city, combined with the presence of foreign artifacts, suggests that Teotihuacan may have been attacked by an external enemy. The possibility of invasion is further supported by the presence of fortifications around certain parts of the city, indicating that Teotihuacan may have faced external threats in its later years. While these defenses may have helped the city fend off initial attacks, a sustained campaign of warfare could have weakened Teotihuacan's ability to maintain control over its trade routes and resources, ultimately leading to its downfall. Economic decline and the collapse of trade networks. Teotihuacan's economy was heavily reliant on trade, both within Mesoamerica and beyond. The city's strategic location allowed it to control important trade routes, and its wealth was built on the exchange of valuable goods such as obsidian, jade, textiles, and pottery. However, as rival city-states emerged and began to challenge Teotihuacan's dominance, the city's trade networks may have begun to collapse. One theory suggests that Teotihuacan's decline was linked to a shift in regional trade dynamics. As other cities, such as Tikal in the Maya region, began to grow in power, they may have developed their own trade networks, bypassing Teotihuacan. This would have diminished Teotihuacan's economic influence and reduced the flow of goods into the city. Without the resources generated by trade, the city would have struggled to sustain its large population and ambitious construction projects. In addition to external competition, internal factors such as corruption or mismanagement of resources may have contributed to the city's economic decline. If the ruling elite prioritized their own wealth and status over the well-being of the population, this could have exacerbated social tensions and led to a breakdown in the city's economic infrastructure. The role of religion in Teotihuacan's decline. Religion was central to life in Teotihuacan, and the city's ruling elite were deeply involved in religious rituals and ceremonies. Human sacrifice was a key aspect of Teotihuacan's religion, with blood offerings seen as necessary to maintain cosmic balance and ensure the city's prosperity. However, as the city faced increasing environmental and social challenges, the religious elite may have been perceived as failing in their duties. If the gods were no longer providing the rains or fertility needed for agriculture, the population may have lost faith in the ruling class's ability to maintain divine favor. This loss of confidence could have contributed to social unrest, as the religious elite were seen as both political and spiritual leaders. The burning of temples and religious structures during the city's decline suggests that the population may have turned against the religious establishment, blaming them for the city's misfortunes. The decline of religious authority would have had profound implications for Teotihuacan's social order. Without the religious and political institutions that had maintained stability for centuries, the city may have been unable to withstand external pressures, leading to its eventual abandonment. A gradual decline or a sudden collapse? One of the enduring questions about Teotihuacan's decline is whether it was a gradual process or a sudden collapse. Some scholars argue that the city's fall was the result of a slow, multi-decade process in which environmental degradation, economic decline, and social unrest gradually weakened its foundations. In this view, Teotihuacan may have experienced periods of instability and recovery, with the final collapse occurring after a series of internal and external pressures. Others suggest that the city's fall was more abrupt, pointing to the evidence of widespread destruction and the deliberate burning of key structures. This scenario envisions a sudden and violent revolt or invasion that quickly brought an end to Teotihuacan's dominance. Regardless of the speed of its decline, it is clear that by the late 7th century, Teotihuacan was no longer the powerful city it once was. Its population had dwindled, its temples and palaces lay in ruins, and the city's once vibrant streets were abandoned. The aftermath: Teotihuacan's influence on later civilizations. Despite its decline, Teotihuacan's legacy continued to shape the region for centuries. The Aztecs, who arrived in the central Mexican valley long after Teotihuacan's fall, revered the city as a sacred place. They believed that Teotihuacan was the birthplace of the gods and that its pyramids were the sites of divine creation. The Aztecs adopted many of Teotihuacan's religious symbols, including the worship of Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. Teotihuacan's influence extended beyond religion. The city's architectural styles, urban planning, and social organization were emulated by later Mesoamerican civilizations. Its trade networks, although diminished, continued to shape the economic landscape of the region. In many ways, Teotihuacan's cultural and political legacy outlasted the city itself, leaving an indelible mark on the history of Mesoamerica. Section 5. The Legacy of Teotihuacan. Although Teotihuacan fell from its position of power over a millennium ago, its legacy remains alive, both in the region's cultural memory and in its profound influence on subsequent civilizations. Long after its abandonment, Teotihuacan continued to inspire awe among those who encountered its towering pyramids and elaborate urban design. In this final section, we will explore how Teotihuacan's legacy shaped future Mesoamerican cultures, how it continues to fascinate scholars and visitors, and what lessons its history offers to the modern world. Teotihuacan's influence on the Aztecs. One of the most significant legacies of Teotihuacan is its influence on the Aztecs, who arrived in the central Mexican valley centuries after the city's fall. By the time the Aztecs established their empire in the 14th century, Teotihuacan had long been abandoned, but its ruins still stood as a testament to the greatness of the past. The Aztecs, upon discovering Teotihuacan, were so impressed by its scale and mystery that they believed the city had been built by the gods. For the Aztecs, Teotihuacan was more than just an ancient city. It was a sacred space, the site of divine creation. According to Aztec mythology, Teotihuacan was the place where the gods gathered to create the sun and the moon. This belief gave the city a special significance in Aztec religion, and many of their rituals were inspired by the symbolism of Teotihuacan. The Aztecs adopted the feathered serpent god, Quetzalcoatl, who had been a central figure in Teotihuacan's pantheon, and made him one of the most important deities in their own religious practices. Teotihuacan's architectural style also influenced the Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan. The layout of Tenochtitlan, with its grand temples, pyramids, and causeways, was likely inspired by the urban planning of Teotihuacan. The Aztecs sought to emulate the grandeur of their predecessors, positioning themselves as the inheritors of Teotihuacan's legacy. In doing so, they helped to keep the memory of the ancient city alive, even as they built an empire that would later rival Teotihuacan in scale and influence. Archaeological discoveries, uncovering Teotihuacan's secrets. Teotihuacan remained a source of fascination long after the fall of the Aztec Empire, particularly for archaeologists who began excavating the site in the 19th century. Early explorers were captivated by the sheer scale of the city's ruins, but much of Teotihuacan's history remained shrouded in mystery. Over the years, archaeological discoveries have gradually revealed more about the city's culture, society, and religion, although many questions remain unanswered. One of the most significant discoveries was the uncovering of human remains beneath the temple of Quetzalcoatl, indicating that large-scale human sacrifices were a central part of the city's religious practices. The remains of more than 200 individuals, many of whom were bound and buried beneath the temple, suggest that the consecration of major structures was accompanied by elaborate sacrificial rituals. This finding provided crucial insight into the religious beliefs of the Teotihuacanos, confirming that sacrifice played a vital role in their relationship with the gods. Further excavations have revealed more about Teotihuacan's urban layout, with residential areas, palaces, and administrative buildings spread across the city. The discovery of mural art in many of these structures has shed light on the city's social and political organization. These murals depict scenes of gods, warriors, and religious ceremonies, providing a window into the daily life and beliefs of the people who lived there. In recent years, the use of advanced archaeological techniques, such as ground-penetrating radar and DNA analysis, has allowed researchers to uncover even more about Teotihuacán. One of the most exciting discoveries was the finding of an underground tunnel beneath the Pyramid of the Sun, which may have been used for religious or political purposes. This tunnel, along with other subterranean chambers discovered in the city, suggests that Teotihuacán's leaders may have conducted secretive rituals, adding yet another layer of mystery to the city's already complex history. A UNESCO World Heritage Site, preserving Teotihuacán for future generations. In 1987, Teotihuacán was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognizing its significance as one of the most important archaeological sites in the world. This designation helped to ensure that Teotihuacán would be preserved for future generations, and it brought international attention to the site. The Mexican government has since invested in the protection and conservation of the ruins, ensuring that the city's ancient structures remain intact for visitors and researchers alike. Today, Teotihuacán is one of Mexico's most popular tourist destinations, attracting millions of visitors each year. Walking through the Avenue of the Dead, climbing the Pyramid of the Sun, and exploring the Temple of Quetzalcoatl allows visitors to experience firsthand the grandeur of this once thriving city. Teotihuacán's pyramids, temples, and murals offer a unique glimpse into the lives of its ancient inhabitants, providing a connection between the modern world and the distant past. Efforts to preserve Teotihuacán have also led to new archaeological discoveries, as ongoing excavations continue to uncover more about the city's history. Each new find adds to our understanding of Teotihuacán's people, their beliefs, and their interactions with the world around them. By preserving the site, researchers hope to unlock more of the city's secrets, ensuring that Teotihuacán's legacy remains a source of fascination for years to come. Spiritual significance. Teotihuacán as a pilgrimage site. Beyond its historical and archaeological importance, Teotihuacán continues to hold spiritual significance for many people, particularly in Mexico and Central America. Each year, thousands of visitors make a pilgrimage to the site, especially during the spring equinox, when the sun aligns with the top of the Pyramid of the Sun. For these modern pilgrims, Teotihuacán is more than just a relic of the past. It is a sacred space, a place where they can connect with the cosmos and the divine. The Equinox Festival at Teotihuacán is a vibrant event, drawing people from all over the world to witness the celestial phenomenon. Many participants believe that standing atop the Pyramid of the Sun during the equinox allows them to absorb spiritual energy from the sun, creating a powerful connection between the individual, the earth, and the cosmos. For these pilgrims, the pyramids of Teotihuacán are not just ancient structures, but living symbols of humanity's eternal quest to understand the universe and our place within it. This spiritual aspect of Teotihuacán highlights the city's enduring legacy as a place of worship and reflection. Even in modern times, the city continues to inspire a sense of wonder and reverence, much as it did for the Aztecs who believed it was the birthplace of the gods. In this way, Teotihuacán's spiritual legacy continues to resonate with people from all walks of life, serving as a reminder of the timeless nature of humanity's search for meaning. Lessons from Teotihuacán. The rise and fall of civilizations. Teotihuacán's history offers valuable lessons about the rise and fall of civilizations. At its peak, Teotihuacán was one of the largest and most powerful cities in the world, a center of culture, trade, and religious life. Its grand pyramids, sophisticated urban planning, and extensive trade networks were a testament to the ingenuity and ambition of its people. However, like many great civilizations, Teotihuacán eventually succumbed to internal and external pressures, leading to its collapse. One of the key lessons from Teotihuacán's decline is the importance of environmental sustainability. As the city's population grew, its demands on the surrounding environment increased, leading to deforestation, soil erosion, and water shortages. These environmental challenges, combined with social unrest and political instability, contributed to the city's downfall. Teotihuacán serves as a reminder of the fragile balance between human societies and the natural world, and the consequences of overexploitation of resources. Teotihuacán also highlights the dangers of social inequality. The city's ruling elite controlled vast wealth and power, but their inability to address the needs of the common people may have contributed to social unrest and internal conflict. The burning of the elite's residences suggests that the city's collapse was at least partly driven by a popular revolt, as the lower classes rebelled against their rulers. This serves as a cautionary tale about the importance of addressing inequality and ensuring that all members of society benefit from the resources and wealth of a civilization. Finally, Teotihuacan's legacy reminds us of the enduring power of culture and spirituality. Although the city was abandoned, its influence continued to shape the region for centuries, inspiring the Aztecs and other Mesoamerican civilizations. Teotihuacan's spiritual significance remains alive today, as people continue to visit the site in search of meaning and connection. This speaks to the resilience of human culture and the ways in which the achievements of the past continue to inspire future generations. Conclusion: the enduring mystery of Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan remains one of the most enigmatic and fascinating cities of the ancient world. Its towering pyramids, intricate murals, and mysterious fall continue to captivate archaeologists, historians, and visitors alike. Although much has been learned about the city's people, culture, and religion, many questions still remain unanswered. Who were the true builders of Teotihuacan? What caused the city's collapse? And what other secrets lie hidden beneath its ruins? As new discoveries are made and technology advances, we may one day uncover more of Teotihuacan's mysteries. However, it is perhaps the very ambiguity of Teotihuacan that makes it so compelling. The city stands as a monument not only to human ingenuity and ambition, but also to the mysteries of the past that continue to elude us. Whether viewed as a cultural powerhouse, a spiritual center, or a cautionary tale, Teotihuacan's legacy endures. It serves as a reminder of the heights that human civilization can achieve and the fragility that accompanies such greatness. For those who visit its ancient ruins, Teotihuacan offers an opportunity to step back in time and reflect on the lessons of a city that once stood at the heart of the Mesoamerican world. A city that, despite its fall, continues to resonate through history.